to do wood burning. I have a wood burning tool, and this is from the craft store, and it cost maybe $15. I've got the universal tip on here. It came with 4 different tips, and it says on the package what the tips are for, and I like this universal tip. I have it plugged in and I have it turned on, and I'm letting it heat up. It takes about 5 minutes to heat up. I'm just going to set it aside. And if I were doing something freehand, I would just get started. We're going to do some wood burning on wood napkin rings from the craft store. But instead of doing freehand, I'm going to show you how to use a stencil to make a design with your wood burning. And so I just have a border stencil here. It's not a stencil, a sticker, sorry. I have this little sticker, and I think that these border ones are really nice for the napkin rings because you can put them all the way around, and it looks like a little pattern all the way around. And we're going to do 4 napkin rings. We're going to do them all with the different sticker. I'm just going to center the sticker here. It's really going to be like a stencil. I'm going to outline it. I'm just going to press that on and press it all the way around this napkin ring. And I'm just putting it on the flat part of the napkin ring. I don't want to have to work up over that curve. And here, I've just come back to the beginning, so I'm going to trim this. Whoops. Right here. I'll just trim that straight across. And get that out of the way. Match that end up. And now that's what our design's going to look like when we wood burn. And to give ourselves a pattern for that, I have a pencil here. And I'm just going to start outlining. I'm drawing right on the wood. This will erase later, so don't worry about it. I'm just going to give myself some little guidelines. So I just draw around like that. And you can use words. You can get stickers that have alphabets. And you could spell out something like yum on your napkin ring, or whatever project you're working on. Because using the stickers like this, the sky's the limit what designs you can do. And they also have the other tips. They have a tip that makes dots really nicely. And for that, you could do freehand designs. That would be really fun to see. So we're almost back to the beginning where we started outlining our stencil or sticker to make our little stencil shape here. And now we can remove this sticker. And you can see that I have a little outline that I can use that's going to be the guideline for my wood burning. I'm going to burn inside those lines to make the pattern I want on the napkin ring. And now we're ready to start wood burning, and our tool is heated up, and I like to use it like a pen and like I'm drawing. I've given myself a little bit of slack with the cord so the cord's not yanking me, and I want to get it behind my arm like that so it's not pushing on me, so I have more control. I recommend when you're doing the wood burning to do the outline first and then go back and fill in. That's worked the best for me. And what I like to do is just start lightly touching the wood, and you get a feel for how much it burns. So you can see it's darkening a little bit there. And I don't need the outline to be real dark. I'm just giving myself a little guide here. And you can turn the piece you're working on, like I'm turning this napkin ring. I'm keeping my hand with the pen pretty much in the same spot. It's easy for me to make this motion, this curve motion. Here, it'd be harder for me to make it if I had to turn my hand this way and try to make a curve motion. So I'm going to move the napkin ring instead of moving my hand. And I'm just making a little outline here. You'll also get a feel as you're working on the wood and with this tool for this point and how much pressure to give and how long to stay in one spot. If you stay in one spot for very long, I'll show you a little bit here, it might make a little divot or gouge. See how it burns pretty fast? That's why I'm doing it lighter than that. I don't want a lot of gouges. There will be some, there'll be marks like that as you go around. But to get started, I like to have this softer line. It's easier to follow the lines that way. Especially because the wood has a grain to it, and the wood burning tool when it starts burning, will kind of grab into that grain so that it'll want to make a line that's this way. The grain is going this way. And I'm trying to make lines going this way. I don't want it competing with me. I don't want the wood burning tool to grab the grain, so I'm not pressing too hard. You may also notice I'm on a book. That's because this napkin ring is tall. Without the book here, I'm working, I can't even rest my hand. It's so much nicer to have your hand anchored and rested. It makes all the work easier and it gives you much more controlled lines. You want to be careful when you get up to an edge like this. I'm drawing down here. I don't want this wood burning tool to accidentally hit this top part. It'll make a burn mark, and you might be able to sand that out. We haven't tried. But you want to be careful that you're not getting burn marks where you don't want them. I almost have enough area now to fill it in. Let me finish this little zone. I'm rotating the tool as I need to so that I'm using just the point. I don't want that chisel. I'm not doing calligraphy or anything. So I'm just rotating the tool a little bit when I need to get the lines that I want. And now I'm going to start filling in. And you can do this with kind of hash marks, like you're filling in, like you're drawing something. I find that this works the best because you're going to get lines no matter what. It's hard to get a perfectly smooth wood burn because of the grain and because of the shape of the tool. So rather than fight that, I think it's nice to go ahead and just make some lines. And then it looks a little bit handmade, a little bit hand-drawn. You can see on this one there some of those lines and marks. Looks rustic. And just the longer I hold it on a spot, the darker and deeper the wood gets burned. And what I want to do is make it pretty consistent. So this part's pretty light, that part's pretty dark, so I need to do a little bit more over here on this part. Keep it moving. And just fill in your outlines. So I think it's really helpful to have those outlines. So when you get to this part's pretty easy. You don't have to think too much. It's kind of nice. Doesn't that look cool? And then if you have any outlines that you wish were sharper, like this one's a little soft, I think, you can just go back and add a little bit more burn there and sharpen it up a little bit. So I'm just going to keep going around the napkin ring. I'm going to outline the whole shape, and then I'm going to fill in like this, burning as I go, taking it slow. Before you get started with your wood burning, you can test, you get some little scrap pieces of wood or little shapes from the craft store. They're cheap, 15 cents maybe. And you can do some tests, and that's a great way to get started so you're not ruining your first project. You can test out how long to leave the wood burning tool on the wood before it gouges or makes a very dark mark. Practice doing this fill in, but you get the hang of it right away. It really is like coloring. I just have this little piece to do here. And then once this is done, you just want to let this cool. The project is still warm from the wood burning tool. So I'm going to turn off my wood burning tool and I'm going to let this project cool for a few minutes, and then we can erase the pencil lines that are left over from our stencil. So now this is cool where we burned the wood, and I want to go back and erase those pencil lines, and I just have this art gum eraser here, and those lines will come right off, just rubbing gently. And it doesn't mess up your wood burning at all, because that, even though it looks like you used a pen or something, that's burnt wood. It's not going anywhere. So you'll just want to erase all those pencil marks from your outline.